Welcome to the Collecting Keys Friday Focus.
What's going on, guys? On this episode of the Collecting Keys Friday Focus, I am going to talk about my top 3 places that I like to find virtual staff. So I am building off of the episode that we had on Wednesday, where we talked about going from being a solopreneur to more of an actual entrepreneur and bringing on a team. And this was one of the common questions that we got after that episode was, where exactly do I find these people? So I'm going to dive into my top 3 places to do that today. If you are new here, my name is Mike DeHaan. I'm one of the hosts of the Collecting Keys podcast. And every Friday, my co-host Dan or I, we do a single show where we focus on a specific question that either came from our Wednesday episode or is something that comes from our group coaching program, the Instant Investor Program. So if you're interested in that, you can go to collectingkeyspodcast.com, click on Become an Instant Investor in the top right, and that would get you into our group coaching program where we focus on how exactly we have built an off-market real estate investment business. And the people that are in that group, they get full access to do things like ask us to do a show on a certain topic. And this was one of the things that came up. So go and check that out, collectingkeyspodcast.com, and click on the top right, Become an Instant Investor, and it will have all the offerings there. Anyways, back on topic. So going from a solopreneur to an entrepreneur with staff, virtual staff is something that is super, super relevant in the modern world of, the internet, and especially in like a data-heavy business such as real estate. A lot of the work there, it's heavily repeatable. It's generally low skill, and you can find, virtual staff to do things at a much cheaper rate than an American staff member. And I would say that's kind of like the first phase that people start out with virtual staff, is bringing on admins at like low cost to do a lot of these repetitive tasks. But the next stage, and what we do very heavily, is we actually have high skill virtual staff. So we have like copywriters, we've had web developers, graphic designers, digital managers, like all sorts of things that are far beyond just like a general admin. And we hire them on as virtual employees, very high skill just in general. We pay them a wage that is very good for where they live, but is very cheap for us in the United States. So it's kind of a win-win situation. And we leverage that extremely heavily as well on top of just the traditional VAs. And when I tell people this, first off, the question that always comes up is, well, where exactly did you find them? And so I found all of my virtual staff from 3 specific places. I've tried other places, but I found these 3 to be the most successful. I'll just go right down the list. So the first one is the tried and true Upwork. That is what most people are familiar with. It is a freelancer platform where you can go on, you can post a job listing, you will get absolutely slammed with different potential candidates that, some of them will be dishonest, some of them will like put their best foot forward. That is a completely sort of exaggeration of their abilities. But if you learn to go through there, you can actually find a ton of potential. It just takes a lot of work, but I have found the bulk of my virtual staff from Upwork. So even though you can go on there and it can be daunting when you get slammed by all these potential candidates, it is a tried and true method. So that's number 1 is Upwork. The other 2 are much less common, and I will say that these are my favorite, even though they do take a little bit more work and a little more creativity to find them, and I guess a little bit more of outside the box thinking. So outside of Upwork, the second one that I found most of my staff is through Reddit, of all places. Whenever I say that to people, they always give me a funny look, and they're like, really? How does that work? 'Cause it's an anonymous chat platform, if you're not familiar with Reddit, where, most people go on there to look at things like, I don't know, cat videos or porn or just like, whatever other garbage is out there on the internet. But there actually is a very big community there that, is active strictly on Reddit and not really anywhere else. And they do have a lot of different subreddits to focus on things that are actually productive. So, there's like news stuff, there's stuff about like, woodworking, there's several different real estate subreddits. And mixed in there is a subreddit that is called For Hire and is meant for job listings and hunting for employees, right? And I originally had this thought of posting on there. So I guess like going back years, I used to look on the For Hire subreddit for different online jobs when I was kind of between my engineering job and wasn't full-time in real estate yet. And, opportunities would come up there that I would regularly engage in. And then as I got into this, I thought like, why don't I try to post positions on there as well? So I started posting different job positions on this for hire subreddit. And I was absolutely blown away, not only by the response that I got, but by like kind of in the openness that people had there compared to things like Upwork, where it's a professional hiring platform. So people sort of have their persona. With Reddit, I found that I think it's because people are completely anonymous. They are very open to having like more of a casual conversation. You can get a better feeling for them as a person. You still get their resume and you still let you go through the full process of seeing their work experience and everything. But I feel like it was just a more organic conversation in terms of hiring as opposed to Upwork, which is like it's a hiring platform. People are, what they're advertising isn't necessarily what you're going to get because they want to be portrayed a certain way. And the thing with Reddit too that I really like is you have someone that seems good, they're talking a good game, they have a good resume. You can click on their profile and you can see all of the things that their anonymous selves interact with, which may or may not be good, but will be a reflection of who they are, right? So, for example, at one point I was hiring for a position and they seemed like they were super good. And then I clicked on their profile and I noticed that the main platform that they were active in was like a anarchist / incel sort of subreddit, right? I'm like, okay, I probably don't want that person working in my company. So I decided to not move forward with them. But, when it comes to more professional, screenings and things like that, like a more typical hiring, sure, you can look people up on social media and that sort of stuff, but you don't actually get to see the deep, dark secrets of their internet history like you do with Reddit. And sure, they can have like a fake profile or all those sort of things, but realistically, most people don't. And as a result, I found Reddit to be a very, very good hiring platform. And as of right now, I think we have 3 people on our staff that came from Reddit. So it's been very effective for us. That's my second one, is the Reddit for hire page. The third one is as simple as it sounds, asking the people that work for you, especially the virtuals, if they have any referrals. We found this especially to be true with Filipinos, where they have like such a common culture of being virtual assistants. Such a large part of their workforce is virtual assistants for American companies. A lot of them have people that they know that are looking for work, that are interested in doing a different kind of work. And we have had really good luck asking other Filipinos. I guess I say Filipinos. This could probably work with any sort of virtual assistant or virtual employee. We've mostly done it with Filipinos. If they have someone that could be a good fit for a new role, and just sort of like have them bring their friends, bring their family, whatever, interviewing them, going through the full process like you normally would. But typically, not only do they want to bring someone forward that's a good employee because it's going to make them look good, the person in your team, if they bring someone good, but it also makes them like a little bit stickier, right? Because they're now going to be that much more loyal if their friend, family member, whatever works with your company. And also too, if you have problems with one of them, you can ask the other one what's going on. And you'd be surprised at how much more information you can get when there's people, with this virtual team, there's people that are in that person's physical environment that can sort of poke and see what's going on. They're going to get information you're never going to be able to get from a distance. So that's my third one, is asking your virtual staff for referrals. Anyways, just to do a quick recap, Upwork has been my tried and true. I have hired and gone through a bunch of different virtual employees on there. I also find Upwork to be great for one-time tasks. That's mostly what I use it for. The second off is the Reddit for hire subreddit. Most of our longest running staff at this point have come from Reddit. And the third is to ask your current staff for referrals. And we've primarily done that through Filipinos staff, and it has gone very, very well. So anyways, guys, that is where I find my virtual staff, those 3 sources. I recommend you give all of those a look and a try yourself if you're looking at bringing on virtual staff. And if you guys have any questions about that or any sort of thoughts on the process or anything, or if you have another place that you find virtual staff that you think I would like to hear about, please send me a message on Instagram at Mike_invests. I love to engage with people, and I would love to hear about, your success with any of these methods or other places you like to look. So on Instagram at Mike_invests, give me a follow there and let me know what you think about that. So perfect. On top of that, guys, go to collectingkeyspodcast.com/free. You'll get our free 5-step guide to start generating off-market leads. And then if you get a little taste of that, or you're like, I don't really want the guide, I just want to start, getting deals and building an awesome business where I can make real legitimate money, Go to collectingkeyspodcast.com and click the Become an Instant Investor button in the top right, and you can learn more about Dan and I's group coaching program or the other offerings that we have with that. We also have a pro program where we run the marketing and sales for you, as well as a partnership program where we will literally run the entire sales process for you on top of, everything else. So tons of different offerings there. So go to collectingkeyspodcast.com, click Become an Instant Investor in the top right. And we have a bunch of different ways we'd love to work with you. So anyways, guys, thanks for listening. Please share this podcast with anyone who might find it interesting, and we'll talk to you next week.
Thanks for listening to this Collecting Keys Friday Focus. Be sure to subscribe wherever you listen to your podcasts.